Hello, we would like to present this sample which was used as the concept for the estimation of the change cost based on the change or expense of the change in the components. And the change would be identified in the business level as the business requirements change, and based on the traceability to the components, we could identify how much this requirement change based on change parameters would cost. And this is not something which is hard coded, it's only customization, and it can be extended with whatever parameters and whatever traceability required, and different scenarios could also be supported. And results could be produced based on the dollar amount, components involved, or something else. Also, this could be not based on the requirements change, but could be based on something else. So here we see the extension. So basically we identified new type of requirement, new type of element change request, which has main information as the for example, change system requirements, affected system requirements. So there we will specify what a requirement is affected, and then based on that we would gather the information about estimated change. So here we see also the complexity, which could identify how complex change is planned. And here we see a full model, so it includes requirements, behavior, structure, parametrics, and concept and logical level. But the main part is here when we have stakeholder needs, which trace to the system requirements and then trace to the functions. We can see here there is more things, just we suppress some, and then we see that those functions actually are allocated to components. It could be the bigger traceability. And now once we want to change a requirement, we will get the suspect system requirement, and then we can use the suspect requirements to estimate the change. And here we see the table, which is generic table, which allows us to see the change requests, and then we see what will be the affected system requirements for each change request, and then automatically from this point we get generated affected logical components and then calculated estimated cost of the change. So this part is, again, it's not some hard code, it can be customized. We can see here the derived property, and here it's some simple code here which would gather properties values from the components, like estimated change cost, or like cost of this component, like manufacturing cost, testing cost, whatever. We can gather those properties values here, and then summarize this as a separate column, for example, like implementation cost, right, of this requirement, or change cost of this requirement based on components cost, and then we can specify some other characteristics. So how this process would work, we would first of all we can do some change, but before doing change, let's clear the suspect links data. So suspicious, because there is some already work done here on the sample. So let's clear suspect links data, and now let's change some requirements. So let's say we were planning to change some business requirement. Let's say this one, heat and cool modes for for the climate control system. So we did a change, and now we will do like analyze. So those requirements could come from external source, someone else working on those requirements, business stakeholder needs can do the change. And now we do suspect links, show suspicious, and we will see that, okay, based on that change we have affected system requirements. So this is affected system requirement, right? And we see those affected system requirements in many views here. For example, in system requirements we see that this requirement is affected, and then based on that we see that, okay, those functions are affected. So now next step, we go here to this view, which gives us understanding about change request. So now add new change request, like milestone 456 change request, and now we will select this those affected requirements. So here we see limited list, and we can say that, okay, manual mode and maybe automatic mode are the affected system requirements based on the suspect links, right? Now we see the list of not overlapping list of the blocks automatically generated based on traceability, and we see estimated cost of the change. So in this case, we just generate the number of included blocks here, but this could be whatever property values, like change of the cost of the change, or some other characteristics based on the properties of the components and the extension. Now we can specify even more details. So for example, like finish date, and then it actually should be like a change, and then who is requesting, and then complexity. So this complexity could also again affect the price of the change, and then is this approved or not. But those properties are all customizable in this extension. And now we can export this data, or push this data, for example, to Excel, to HTML, or push this data to some external to PLM, for example, or something. Now I will save this project. Thank you. This was the proof of concept for change and cost data merging.